Hello, and welcome to Money Mystery No More. Whether you want a car or need a car, the process can seem big, challenging, and overwhelming, especially with a tight budget to stretch that money. Let's talk about buying a car on a budget. We're going to go through some easy steps to control the cost and save money by not overspending while still getting the car you want, by keeping it simple. It's awesome. If you like this content, please hit like, click the subscribe and notification bell to keep getting the latest and greatest information. Okay, let's remove the mystery. Having bought several cars for myself, my wife, kids, nieces or nephews, I've learned a thing or two about the process. It's great to share some nuggets about the whole process so you and others can save some pain, save some heartburn, and save some money while dealing with the purchase process. Listen to step number 3 for a critical must-do. And more interesting is for you to check out step number 5. It's a classic move to save big. And honestly, who can't benefit from buying a car on a budget? Maybe if you're really wealthy with an abundance of cash, it's not that important. But even if, the research shows that a lot of financially successful people also are quite smart about how they spend their money. Some are even considered quite frugal and budget-wise. Step number 1 is to understand the actual cost of a car because it's not the price shown. You need to know the various things you're going to end up paying for up front to get a car. It's pretty important because it's usually more than most people think of initially. For illustrative purposes throughout this video, we are going to use $15,000 to $17,000 as the initial number. Then the reality of those costs, those things mentioned, usually include tax, DMV registration, fees, and let's just add a buffer called add-on because it's a safety net that helps. Then let's use an expensive state like California for our example because it can't get much worse in terms of high cost and fees, considering taxes are 9.75%, DMV costs for registration are about 2.25%, miscellaneous fees should factor another 1.75%, and for your own mental strength, factor those add-on costs at 5%. Trust me, you will be grateful for this cushion because it will hit. Ouch, right? Yes, bummer, we're talking almost 19% more. It's actually 18.75% on top of the sticker price or the sell price, which, remember, we're going to use $15,000 to $17,000. Now would you look at that? You can see in the table that the sticker price just jumped to $17,844 or $20,233, quite a bit more than originally planned. Okay, let's get into step number 2. Step number 2 is to plan for a down payment. Some say 10%, but let's go out on a limb and stretch for that to be 20%. That's going to be $3,000 to $3,400 out of pocket, up front to get the car financed. This might come in the form of a trade-in, an incentive, or you just putting down some good old-fashioned, hard-earned cash. If you're lucky, maybe a combination of the 3 somehow. That would be even better. If you do have a trade-in, do yourself a huge favor and have little things fixed before taking it in for the trade. Small dents are fine, but fixing them is easy. Same with little paint scratches and completely shot tires. You will probably lose more money on the trade than it would be to fix it. P.S. Clean the car inside and out. Make a good first impression. Anyway, with all that factored, the truth is, in our example, you're going to end up right at the $15K to $17K target initially assumed. With a little luck, your financed amount may come in at $14,844 up to $16,823 as shown in the table. Step number 3, and maybe the most important step in buying a car, is to nail down the budget. I personally say know your math. You might also include know your comfort level because the two go hand in hand. It seems like common sense really, but not figuring those two out immediately causes many people to overbuy with an ongoing struggle to make the monthly payment. Plus, it just leads to an awful lot of stress. So yeah, to keep it real, know your math and know your comfort level. Again, we are going to use $15,000 to $17,000. And because most people get a loan, that's how we're going to approach this discussion. Maybe another video will discuss how to skip financing a loan and just buy a car with cash. But for now, let's continue the most common approach and really understand what you can handle each month. It means getting real and being honest about how much you can afford right now with your current financial situation. Understand 100% the balance of usable money in your account right now. Do not hedge on future money. That could be a costly error if that money does not come to pass and work out quite the way you thought. Length of loan. Let's talk about it. Unfortunately, some people are taking out loans for 6, 7, or even 8 years, But let's use a traditional 5-year finance loan because that's what most people tend to go with. Yes, you likely know that a 4-year would be better for a variety of reasons, but the monthly payment is usually too hefty, so we're going to stick with the common 5-year. And for the heck of it, let's look at 4 different interest rates: 1.99, 3.99, 5.99, or 7.99. Those offer a decent range from low to high depending on someone's credit rate and comfort. Now look at that. It really is fascinating to compare the monthly payment and the interest rate over the 5-year loan life for just a $2,000 difference. While these numbers are not exact, sticking with the $15,000 versus $17,000 loan, notice a meager 1.99% is $263 versus $298 each month. It might not seem like much, but maybe saving $35 a month really matters, and it's less stress in the long run. Plus, a low interest rate like 1.99% only costs about $771 at $15,000 or $874 at $17,000 by the time you pay it off. Now, on the opposite end with the larger interest rate of 7.99%, you can clearly see the difference in cost each month and in interest fees over the 5 years. You can literally save thousands of dollars. Your monthly payment jumps $40 to $50 more each month with interest costing $3,000 to $4,000 more. That is a big difference. Not something you just ignore if you are on a budget and need to save money, especially when it's month after month, stress after stress. There's another item that may seem silly, but lest we forget, step 4 is to know what specifications and features you want. It's best to divvy them up between the must-haves and the niceties. Before we get to that step number 5, the classic move to save big, think about the main features that are super obvious. So without going too deep into the weeds, if you have some important factors, must-haves, don't ignore them. If you do ignore them due to price or a nice shiny thing that stands out, give it careful thought because it may very well gnaw at you later. It starts slowly, but becomes a thorn as you continue to make those monthly payments. Think about the exterior. Do you want a coupe, sedan, hatchback, T-top, convertible? Does the color matter? Do you like body color bumpers, laminated glass, or even a spoiler? Interior. Do you want cloth, leather, or pleather? And seats. Who would have guessed there are so many of them? Power seats, memory seats, bucket seats, armrests, or even heated seats. And again, do you care about the color scheme? Check out the back seats if that's important too. Don't forget about the garage door transmitter. Let's get under the hood. Engine size does matter. Today, a 3-cylinder can be fairly competent, but do you need something bigger for heavy driving? While 4s have come a long way, nothing beats the consistency of a solid 6. And don't take power steering for granted either. What about safety? ABS, anti-lock braking system, is fairly standard, but how do you feel about brake assist? Make sure you check it if it's a must-have. Then there is lane assist, or distance warnings, or just a basic security system. Technology. This is a big one. What about glass that can block the sun or heat? Decent Bluetooth is nice, but some say mandatory. Navigation is good, but how does it get updated? Cruise control? How about the sound system or rear parking camera, and even a compass? Anyway, those are some big ones. Sure, you are right, this barely scratches the surface, but they are top of mind for many people, so do your research once you know about your must-haves or niceties. Now step number 5 and the classic way to save big. There are 2 things to understand on this point. First, you must literally scour your options. Go on a good internet search of all the auto dealers, rental car sales, car lots, used vehicle retailers like CarMax or Nationwide, and of course, remember the old-fashioned advertising like AutoTrader. Second, you 100% must shop around for your financing options. Do not, repeat, do not underestimate the value of this exercise. You can literally save thousands of dollars due to lower interest rates or lower down payments or just plain better financing terms. This is huge. Shop around by inquiring with your local credit union, your credit card, your bank, other banks, bankrate.com, your friends' recommended financing, and even memberships or clubs you belong to such as AAA Insurance or Costco. One other option is to look at perks or memberships through your employer and keep an eye out for incentives or rebates. Don't leave a stone unturned in this exercise. Remember, if you are on a budget, this can save you a ton of money and give you some extra financial cushion. Plus, know this, if you get pre-approved with an offer in writing, a dealer will almost always match that offer if your credit score can support it. This is a super condensed discussion on how buying a car on a budget can be done with a little elbow grease and research by keeping it simple. It may sound like a lot, but honestly, just do some research and follow those 5 steps to really control the cost and save money by not overspending while still getting the car you want. A quick side note on auto insurance. We will have another video all about that because it too is a big subject. Keep an eye out for it. And as mentioned, your credit score can really make a big difference in this process. Watch our video, Credit Repair Callout, for some tips to make it as strong as possible too. If you find this to be interesting, hit like, click that subscribe button below, and turn on notifications so you keep getting the latest and greatest information from Money Mystery No More. I'll see you in the next video.